Hello and welcome back to another episode of TEW. We are here for Monday Night Raw, and we open the show on the pre-show with the War Raiders defeating Alpha Academy in 11:02 with a Viking Experience getting a 57 rating. If you are looking forward to this episode of Raw, where we've got Pete Dunne versus Sheamus, and also pick your poison matches for Gunther and Sami Zayn. Sami's is going to open the show as well, so let me know if you're looking forward to that, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Next up, in a terrible pre-show match, we have Katana Chance and Caden Carter defeating the Unholy Union when Katana Chance pinned Isla Dawn with a victory roll. I have to say, I am looking to give Katana Chance a push at some point. I think she's really good in the ring. Because she's got the background in parkour and things like that. Really athletic, similar to John Morrison. I think she could be a really fun person to have pushing into our women's division. And then in a decent pre-show match, Rey Mysterio defeated Wesley and Dragon Lee. That wasn't intentional. In 14-16, when Rey Mysterio pinned Dragon Lee with a 619 into the drop in the dime. And we did a little high spots match to get the crowd ready for the main show, 66 rating. And next up, we have our opening segment, which gets an 81 rating. Fantastic start to the show. Sami Zayn comes out ready for his Pick Your Poison match. And it's going to be Solo Sikoa that he is facing. So hopefully this can be a good match. Solo coming over from SmackDown gets a 65 rating. It's not fantastic, if we're being honest. However, it was a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling. Solo Sikoa defeats Sami Zayn with the Samoan Spike following interference from Tama Tonga, and also we had Talatonga attack Zayn as well. So a 65 rating. Sami coming up short, and then the Bloodline preparing to attack when Gunther gets in the ring and prevents Solo from attacking after the bell. So the Bloodline forced into retreat by Gunther, the man who is facing Sami Zayn at Crown Jewel. Bit of a surprise there, seeing that action from Gunther, but nevertheless, we'll get an explanation from him later on in the night, I'm sure. Next up, we have Unga Howdy just telling Miz, don't betray our truth. You have been warned. 61 rating, so just a very simple warning out to the Miz. Unga Howdy giving him a final chance to redeem himself. If he turns on our truth, the Wyatt Six will give the Miz reason to pay. Next up in a bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, Bronson Reed defeated El Mariachi Loco in 2 minutes 49 with a Deathlock Driver. This was just to give Bronson Reed a squash match. This guy's in our one-night deal. You'll probably never see him again. But after the match, Braun Strowman returns, and they end up in a brawl all over the arena. And eventually, they managed to be separated, but not for long, because as you'd expect with two huge men like this, they fight off the security, they carry on fighting all the way backstage. Superstars end up having to come and break them apart. So Braun Strowman coming back and saying, this rivalry is not over. I'm the real monster here. Next up, we have Gunther's explanation for earlier in the night. And he says, despite everything, all the remarks that him and Sami have made against each other, despite Sami ending his Intercontinental Championship reign at WrestleMania, says despite that, I'm not going to allow Solo Sikoa to attack him because I want him ready for Crown Jewel. I don't want to be able to have anybody doubt whether I can beat Sami at 100% by letting him be attacked. And despite everything else, he does respect Sami for the way he dug in at WrestleMania, and that's why he wants to make sure he can prove that he can beat Sami Zayn. Next up, in a decent wild brawl, Pete Dunne draws with Sheamus in 14:02, getting a 60 rating as they both get disqualified. And that's another pretty good match. I'm looking forward to the rating on this show so far. After the match, Adam Pearce comes out and announced next week these two will face off again. But this time it is going to be in a street fight, although we don't have a street fight, so I suppose we'll call it a hardcore match. They're basically the same thing anyway, aren't they? So Pete Dunne versus Sheamus. And after that, we get a little tease because coming soon to Monday Night Raw, we have the Von Erichs. So Marshall, Ross, and Lacey Von Erich are heading to Raw in the next few weeks. And next up in a decent match, this is to decide a number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Kofi Kingston defeats Ethan Page, Otis, and Ludwig Kaiser in 11 minutes 20 when Kofi Kingston pins Ludwig Kaiser with a surprise roll-up. The match was designed to steal the show, and it looks like they've done a pretty good job of that, getting a 66 rating, keeping the crowd hot. Creative finish was a success. Very good show. Also, Ethan Page coming in from NXT. He's still their champion down there, but he's being showcased on Raw. And getting a 56 rating is not bad. He's very much competing with what we're seeing from the rest of the guys on the show. So Kofi Kingston now has a Intercontinental Championship match against Bron Breakker. After that, we go backstage and Liv Morgan tells Selena, don't get your hopes up that you're going to win the title, because I'm the best women's champion there has ever been, and I'm not going to lose my title to some little 5 foot, if that, girl who, you know, occasionally gets a bit of a reaction when she shows up in her own hometown. Does anybody else even really care about Zelina Vega? Just being really cocky and dismissing Zelina as, I've already won that match, I'm not worried about it at all. Then we get another announcement from Adam Pearce as he announces the Judgment Day will defend their titles next week against the War Raiders. So we're going to go in and book that now. So we've got the War Raiders versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough. So World Tag Team Championships on the line next week. Next we have Kofi Kingston telling Xavier Woods that he's going to give his IT title shot to Woods because, you know, things haven't been going well for the New Day recently, and Xavier's like, what are you on about? Why do you not think I can earn a title shot myself? Why do you think you're better than me and you've got to be so kind as to donate your title shot to me? And he accepts it, but you can see he's like really annoyed by the way that Kofi's worded it. It might just be a misunderstanding, but Xavier Woods clearly not very happy. And time for our main event. Sami Zayn introduced Gunther's poison. It's Ilya Dragunov, a man who we do know has been a poison for Gunther in the past, and hopefully a fantastic main event. A 77 rating, that is by far our best main event on a normal show. Possibly our best match of the series, I'm not 100% sure. But in about that, had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Gunther defeats Ilya Dragunov in 20 minutes 15 by pinfall with a lariat. So they went out to steal the show. And 77 rating, 74 wrestling rating, they absolutely did just that. After the match, Sami Zayn gets in the ring and shakes Gunther's hand. Effectively, he's thanking him for standing up against the Bloodline earlier in the night and reciprocating that, yeah, I know we don't particularly like each other, but I do respect Gunther. So very much, they don't like each other. They want to have this match at Crown Jewel, but there is that underlying respect of, I want you to be 100% going into this match, because whoever wins, I don't want any doubts. And the show gets a 67 rating, which is pretty good. It does lose its popularity still, but I think that's more because of how popular WWE is than anything else. Karrion Kross has picked up an injury. He's out for basically 3 months. He got a concussion during main event, which was unfortunate. But yeah, this is the problem. Like, we need to be getting 78 rated shows, and at the moment, our wrestlers just aren't popular enough for that. And rather importantly, we don't get any warnings from TV companies about the rating of the show. Karrion Kross out for a few months though, unfortunately. But overall, that was a pretty good Raw for us to have. And I think it gives us a bit of momentum to hopefully build on as we head towards Crown Jewel. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Let me know what matches you'd like to see at Crown Jewel and Survivor Series beyond that. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and thank you very much for watching.